you like to share? I consider myself one of the newbies here. This is my first union. I only spent 6 months at TIC in '72 as summer relief, but it was the best 6 months I had in this business because I really learned a lot, especially from a guy by the name of Bob Sharego. I'm surprised I lasted 6 months there. Bob and I, well, I can tell the story. I told this to Arnold Dean. We almost got him fired. We thought we almost had him fired. Arnold was reading a live spot for Udolph's Clothes. And there was a line in there that said, I'm engineering, I'm sitting here like this big good boy. Sharego, you all know, is behind me. And Arnold Dean reads this line, he says, 42-inch neck. And all Sharego did was... Arnold lost it. We kept trying to get flipping the mic, and it was a disaster. And I says to Bob, I said, I think we just got him fired. And but being the pro that Arnold was, he got through it. I understand that he was called upstairs in the 4th floor. But the pro that Arnold was, never threw Bob and I under the bus. He was just, I don't know what he said, but we never got called on it. And we came back and we said, you okay? And he just looked at us, kind of with that twinkle in his eye and that smile. We knew we were good and we ain't going to do that again. At least for another week or two. Yeah, I started at TIC. I walked into the door right off the street, and I said to the receptionist, I says, do you have any full or part-time jobs here? And she said, well, she's looking at me up and down. I mean, I know I'm good looking. And humble too. And I just looking, I'm in a 3-piece suit. And she's looking, so she calls Sam Ballius up, and she says, you better come down here. They asked me if I had a first-class license. I said, yes. And she better come down. Little did I realize they were looking at how short my hair was. Because back then, hair was the thing. You can ask Lou Palmer that. They hired me, and I met this gentleman by the name of Steve Myers. And Steve looked at my application and he said, you're one of 42 applicants, but call you 2 weeks. Okay. So in the meantime, I had been working at WDRC part-time, and this young engineer took over. His name was Wayne Mulligan. And so I said, wait a minute, Wayne Mulligan is leaving TIC, the DR, they maybe have an opening there. So that's when I walked in, and little did I realize Wayne had already hired me for a part-time at DRC, and I called Steve back, and I started that Monday. And then I had to call Wayne back and tell him I couldn't work there. But it was a great experience. I learned so much about broadcasting, because walking into TIC was totally different than walking into the other stations. You walked in, I use this phrase, and it's like walking into a time tunnel, because it was the way broadcasting used to be and should be. And
sure.
Here I'm a kid, yeah, let's look at the rock stations, you know. But my knowledge there, working under Sharego, Zawerko, Mike Russell, and Dave, and a few others, gave me discipline. So when I left, I went back to DRC full-time, and I remember getting the call from Wayne Mulligan. And I also learned something else about TIC. You cannot keep a secret there. I experienced that. I'm doing mic line. I'm in there, and Sharego says, you got a phone call. I said, I do, yeah. He says, you want to take it? I'll take over for you. Okay, so I go out. Wayne Mulligan. He says, your time at TIC is almost up. Would you be interested in coming over here? I said, absolutely. So hang up, walk in, and Sharego's sitting there. He says, so, did you get the job? What? He said, did you get the job? How's Wayne doing? So, being the guy, you know, I figured, well, let me talk to Steve Myers and give him the first, refusal, and just say, Steve, got an offer to go to another station. And Steve's sitting there like this, nodding his head. And I said, however, I says, like, you know, you have anything here full time? And Steve just said, take the job at DRC. Is there something about my work you did? Oh, no. I can't tell you now, but take the job at DRC. And I did, and then a few months later it was announced that TIC was being sold to Real Publishing Newsweek, and it was going to be split, and the chance of me staying on was probably slim. So Steve Myers always looked out for me. But I always remember this story with Steve. He said to me, he says, so what are they paying you over there? He says, they're same money I'm making here. He says, never leave a job for the same amount of money or less. Called Wayne up. He called Wayne up. So I just gave Dave a little raise. He says he's going to be making this amount. I can hear Wayne go, ah! Yeah. Oh, he's a good kid. He's got, you know, I just need him for 2 weeks after the GHO, and he's all yours. But you know, that's all right. You know, it's good. And that's when he said, never leave your mama. Let's move the clock ahead another 8 years. I'm now left DRC and went to ESPN, hired by Steve Myers. So I said to Steve, I said, so what will you be paying me? True story. He says, same amount of money you're making that you made at DRC. And I said, a wise man once told me. And he said to me, he goes, who told you that? I said, you did. Oh yeah, Mulligan was ticked off with me for a while. He says, I will pay you more. And he did. He did. He paid me $1 more. And that was my introduction to Steve Myers. But working under Steve, who was a mentor to me at ESPN, I later went into management and then retired a few years ago. My experience at TIC was a great one, and thank you, Dave, I ran into Dave, who happened to be at Arnold Dean's Week, and he said, are you part of our alumni? I said, I only did 6 months, you know, part of our alumni, and I'm very happy to be part of this distinguished group, and to work with guys like Bill Hennessy, who I worked with later at DRC, and the legends. Dick on television as a kid growing up. But working with these legends and Bob Steele and the others, I'm very proud of where I've been. I've worked at the 3 major market stations in town, TIC, DRC, and PNP. So thank you very much for having me here.
In 1955, I didn't go to work for TIC directly. I worked for a station that Bill referred to earlier, WTIC. And the very first day that I was there, after working a shift, I was driving back to Stamford, where Gene was, and where my home was at that time. I was living at the YMCA here. And I heard this guy on WCCC. This is true. Boy, he's good. That was Bill Hennessy. And about a year or two later, Bill and I would be working together. So, Bill.
Thank you, Dick. Dave is being a little modest, too, because he's also not had a good experience in all these other places, but he's volunteering his time and effort for the Newington Cable TV, whatever you call it, Media Access TV, which does a very good job, by the way. And last October, he produced a show with Arnold Dean and me and John Ramsey. John Ramsey is the author of a book about hybrid radio history, which you'll hear more about in a few minutes. And it was Arnold's last TV appearance, because just 2 months after that, he was no longer with us. So thinking about some of the things that connect us together with each other, it's very heartwarming to know that we have these memories. Speaking of memories, when Doug talked about going back to his 50-year-old college girlfriend, reminds me of a true story about somebody who's not here today, but was always a very faithful attendee at these reunions. I'm talking about Chuck Alumni. Now, some years ago, Chuck's wife died. Chuck had a very difficult time accepting that, but he gradually got over some of the sadness of it. And he and I attended a college reunion together. We were classmates together in Boston. And at that reunion, he connected up with one of the gals from our reunion class from Montreal. And he maintained correspondence with her, and he ended up marrying her best friend. And the reason he's not with us is because poor Chuck now spends his summers in Montreal and his winters in Miami Beach. So he wasn't able to join us for this event. Speaking of connections with reunions and things, for some reason the Newington Kiwanis Club, and I can't figure out why, they insist on having a bunch of old broadcasters, the Boobs, put on a program for them every year. We've done it 3 years in a row. We're doing it again this August. It's the last Monday in August at the Paradise Pizza in New Britain on the Newington Town Line. And the special guest of honor is the daughter of Ben Hawthorne. And the name Ben Hawthorne only rings a bell with those who know the answer to the question, was there anyone ever before Bob Steele? Yes, it was Ben Hawthorne's G. Fox Morning Watch. He brokered the time, he bought the time from the station, sold it to the sponsor, put himself on the air as the announcer until WWII. Anyway, Ben's daughter will be with the Boobs, the bunch of old broadcasters, in August. In July or August, and we're not certain yet, the date hasn't been set. See, Dave and I worked at every station in town. There's a DRC reunion, we think, and a POP one probably. It'll be held at the Canoe Club in Middletown. Anybody else who worked every place is welcome to attend those. Those are usually fun events as well. And then tomorrow night, Monday night at the Arch Street Tavern in Hartford, the bunch of old broadcasters will be having its fourth Monday of the meeting for the month of June. Just a word about that. John and Patty were among about a dozen of us Boobs that attended a very, very elegant affair for the late singer Bobby Rogers, who passed away last fall. That was held at the Wadsworth Mansion in Middletown, which is a gorgeous setting. And on July 3rd, the Hartford Jazz Orchestra will be appearing at the Wadsworth out on the lawn. That's a free concert. It's like the Boston Pops. This is a 16-piece jazz band, by the way, led by a fellow named Don Trenner, who probably no one's ever heard of, except he was the pianist for Les Brown's Band of Renown on the Bob Hope USO tours. He was the musical director for the Steve Allen TV show. He just won a B'nai B'rith Award in New Haven. He lives in Guilford for having been in music for over 80 years. He goes back to the days when he played piano in Ted Fiorito's orchestra. And the only other person here who knows what I'm talking about is Dick Bertel. Ted Fiorito was before the swing era. That's how old all these people are. But anyway, this band is spectacular. It performs free, blows its brains out Monday nights at 8 o'clock. And before that, the Boobs get together. We get a little drunk and disorderly maybe, but we talk a lot. Up until 8, we respect the band because of what a great job they do. So if anybody's in the area tomorrow night at the Arch Street Tavern, the Boobs will be assembling, a bunch of old broadcasters. And that's how I keep myself busy after retiring. I've never really retired from broadcasting, thanks to these reverse mortgage commercials. But Fred Thompson's doing them, and Robert Wagner, and Henry Winkler, so why not? And anything for a buck, that's my motto. But thank you for mentioning CCC, Dick, because that's where I worked for Bill Sabat. There was a daytime station. I auditioned for the job at TIC that I didn't get. A guy named Bob Ellsworth got the job that year. They held auditions regularly. You could go in, I don't know whether it was Wednesdays or whatever. Fred Wade, you'd have all these scripts you'd have to read. And so Elsie got the job. This is before television. I figured, well, I'll never hear from them again. And I started looking around for other career paths. But a year later, I got a call from Fred Wade when I come back, do the audition over again, and lo and behold, there I was, until the best microphone in the world was invented by the late Bill Lobb, and I was drawn away into the wonderful world of manufacturing and Synchron. That lasted all of about 3 years. We sold some microphones to places like the Boston Symphony, and, you know, some little joints that appreciated the world's first self-contained condenser mic. And when that went under, everybody lost money in this room, because most of our stockholders were TIC people.
Because you were a good salesman.
Well, I was the largest single stockholder too. I had a lot of confidence in it, but that was misplaced. And then I finally, after years working in banking and continuing broadcasting at CPTV, I finally got an honest job, semi-honest. I went to work for the Connecticut Lottery, from which I retired after 27 years, but continued freelancing all those years. And up until about a year ago, when I was one half of a very popular local commercial team called Bill Hennessy and Ken Crowley. We were doing commercials every week for the Crowley Auto Group, Bristol, Plainville, and West Hartford. Exit 38 on my 84. Turn left. Okay. Ken got so good at it. The reason that started, because I'd been identified with Mike Klein and with Ames Department Stores, Paco, and other things, and Channel 32 as an anchorman, that when we started doing the commercials, I would call Ken on the phone. Bill Hennessy calling Ken Crowley. Ken Crowley, what's happening at the Ford store today, Ken? And we do the 60-second spots. Well, after a while, people began knowing who Ken Crowley was. And they say, who's Bill Hennessy? So Ken does the spots by himself. We had dinner the other night together. Ken is still going strong. I'm trying to set back, because as of next month, do you realize I will be married to an 80-year-old woman? But only for 61 years so far, if you think it'll last. But that brings us up to date. That tape that I mentioned with Arnold Dean, which well done, Dave, by the way, and there were a lot of reminiscences in that tape. I don't know where that's being shown, but it was seen around the state, because I had people telling me that they had seen it.
It's also being shown on NCTV's website.
Okay, so it is being web streamed.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to remember Arnold Dean, see how he looked as recently as last October, there's your choice. NCTV, they web stream it, I guess.